Let's talk about why a deep connected community is absolutely essential to your business growth. So, we've probably all heard things like your network is your net worth. You're the sum of the five people that you spend the most time with, things like that. If you want to become a millionaire, surround yourself by millionaires, all of those kinds of things. I don't disagree with those whatsoever. Or also, you'll hear things like, uh, connect with like minded people, with like minded women. And I agree with that as well. But what does that mean? What does like minded mean? So when we dive deeper, we're talking about things like connecting with women who are striving for something big, like you're striving for business growth, for establishing themselves in their industry, who maybe also are having some of the same challenges that you're having, or want to learn some of the same things that you're learning. Like they want to learn more about marketing or sales, or if you're listening to this with me, maybe the deeper inner work, overcoming imposter syndrome, stuff like that, clearing the self doubt, quieting the inner critic, all of those things, right? So, like minded community, what does that mean to you? Now, let me tell you why I'm bringing this up to you today. It's because when I think about community, I think about not just a group program where I'm going to learn how to do a new skill and implement and use that to grow my business. I think of the kind of community where we become friends, where the safety is available to us to become vulnerable, where all of the things, not just that we want to learn to propel us forward, because I always definitely want to focus on the positive, the going forward, the momentum, all of the things, right? But that doesn't mean that we can just ignore the fact that there's some stuff going on in the background and underneath, right? There's some self-doubt, there's some fear, there's fear of failure, there's fear of success, there's fear of judgment, of being seen, of putting yourself out in the world. And at the core of so much of this is not just the self-doubt, but that deep-seated identity level stuff. I'm talking about imposter syndrome. And why am I talking about imposter syndrome again? Haven't I talked about that enough already? I talk about it because about 80% of us as small business owners experience it. So it is a very real thing for the vast majority of us. And knowing that you experience it is one thing. And just hearing on social media other people go, oh man, that imposter syndrome, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I've been experiencing imposter syndrome. It's cool to know that we're not alone, but somehow a post like that doesn't really help us to feel like we're not alone, or not for very long, anyways. Maybe we spend a moment and we exchange, and there's a moment between us, and then that's it, and we move on. When we have the community, when we are very intentional about choosing our community, the people that we surround ourselves with, that we choose to grow alongside, that's where we can establish that circle of people where we can build that trust, and where you can get vulnerable and go, yeah, so about that imposter syndrome, this is how it's keeping me from showing up. And not feel ashamed, because you know you are held in that community of people who support you and truly do care about you, not just cheering for you online, because it's cool to do that. I love to cheer for other people online, whether they're other entrepreneurs or females doing cool things, or veterans. It doesn't matter. I love to cheer for other people online. But it's so much deeper than that when you find your community of people who can really hold what's important to you of value, right? And so I have a community of that I have built for people like that. And here's why. I'm a coach, all right? I come from a background of doing one-on-one sessions, which can be really cool. It can be great to do one-on-one coaching sessions with people, because you really can get about as vulnerable as one is willing to get in a session like that. And sometimes people are a little more hesitant to get that way in a group. Here's the beauty of being in a group. When people start to open up, when that first person gets bold and courageous and goes, yeah, so I went to post something today and my brain stopped me from doing it. And I felt so scared that people were going to judge me, and it didn't feel like it was enough. And so then I didn't post it. And they get really honest about what they were experiencing in that moment. The next person can go, wow, I feel that too. And now you really don't feel alone. But not only that, you get to work through it. So in any community, depends on who the mentor or the coach or whoever's leading it, depends on who that is. In my community, we do the deep inner work of healing the imposter syndrome, of quieting the inner critic, of that self-doubt, shushing it down, learning how to make it come a lot less frequently, right? And stay for shorter periods of time. So I'm talking about being able to kind of bare your soul, right? And why is that so important? Because we look around and we think that the next person has it all together. And then we put a pressure on ourselves and pass judgment on ourselves. Why am I not where they are? What do they have that I don't? I will never be that good, right? I could never show up in that way. Wow, they're so confident. How do they get to be like that? What would it take to get there? I don't think I could ever get there, right? And here's your reality. Most of those people who you're looking at and you don't really know, you're just seeing from one point of view on social media or whatever it is, and you're looking at them going, man, that person's confident. What's the possibility that inside they're feeling just as much self-doubt as you? That whenever they stop record on that video or they come off that stage or they whatever, and the thing is that they're not walking away going, I was so stupid. I can't believe I made so many mistakes. Oh, I forgot to say that thing. What a moron. No, they're all going to know I made a mistake. What is wrong with me? I can never get it right. What's the probability that that's not actually happening in their head? I'm going to tell you, if they haven't healed themselves from the imposter syndrome and then done the deep inner work, it's very likely that they are experiencing that too. You just don't know. Now, how do I know that this is true? Because I have had person after person after person hear me say, especially recently, that I have a lifelong history of judgment through perfectionism and imposter syndrome. And people who have known me my whole life go, wow, Heather, I never would have guessed. Friends that I used to work with go, you were the most confident person I know. And I'm like, that's what I wanted you to see. Because I was afraid of the vulnerability that it would take for me to admit imperfection. And that is heavy, friends. And that is what I don't want you to have to carry. So if you are sick and tired of trudging through business growth and dealing with the imposter syndrome, the self-doubt, the fear of showing up, the fear of judgment, the comparisonitis, if you are ready to be surrounded by women in a community who want that growth, who are going for it, yet this heavy thing is still standing in their way and they can't seem to clear it. If you're seeing yourself in that, hit the like button and let me know. And if you're seeing yourself in that, I want to invite you to join my community. Now, there's a couple ways that you can get into the community. The first way is if you're like, I really want to get to know you a little bit, Heather, a little bit more, like I want to get to know this community you're talking about, I would invite you to join my next Dream, Define, Do workshop, where it's 3 hours long and we really get to know one another a bit. And you get to really see how I work and what kind of a stage I set for my attendees, the way that I invite you to trust me by showing you that I am trustworthy, all of these things. If you'd like to attend that workshop and see how you can gain clarity in your business and how you can build momentum through income producing activities as opposed to those things that we're just checking boxes in order to stay afloat, right? I'd love to invite you to that workshop. You can find the link in the description. If you're ready to just dive in, you're like, no, I need this kind of community. I hear what you're saying, Heather, and I'm ready. Let's go. Then I would encourage you to schedule a consultation call with me where we can see if we really are a great fit and we can explore what it looks like on the other side of all of this stuff for you, and then determine if the community that I have available is right for you. So I cannot wait to talk to you. And in the meantime, stay empowered.